guys, welcome back to the Chloe Mediumship show. So today I have the most amazing person to join with me and talk about everything and anything. So I have the amazing Corrine who is joining me today. So hey.
Hi.
Don't be nervous, it's all fine.
No, I'm excited actually.
So I thought that we could just discuss everything. So I think I messaged you when, so obviously on Instagram, I've just been building everything on there and I must have come across your page.
Yeah.
And you said I'd sent you a love heart.
Yeah. But do you know what's funny? Like, I don't always normally reply to things like that.
And I bet you have loads of messages because you do nails, don't you?
Yeah.
So you got messages all the time.
All the time.
And obviously you do molly-mae's nails, which everybody knows who molly-mae is.
Yeah.
And she's very, very spiritual as well. I find her so spiritual.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're building your business and you've just growing and growing and growing, and I've been watching your journey and I absolutely love it. So you've just moved to this bigger place. So talk to me about that because I'm really intrigued.
Oh,
I love it.
It's amazing. I absolutely love it.
Do
So,
ya?
I mean, how long have we got? This is the thing. So going back to 2007, I think it was, I opened the salon that I'm at now. I actually opened it. It was called Vanity. It was like nails, hair, beauty, everything. So 13 years in, I found like it just got very, very repetitive.
Yeah.
I got it at a really young age. I think it was around 22.
Yeah.
Bailey was only really young, my daughter.
Yeah, so it's just hard.
Yeah. I think it was not even a year in, maybe nearly 2 years. I fell pregnant again.
Yeah.
So I really built up a business there, which it went really, really well.
Yeah.
But then 13 years in of doing the same thing day in, day out, got really repetitive. And as much as I love my job, it was
day in, day out.
Time for a change. It was time for a change. So then I always knew I wanted to teach and educate people, but I was very, very scared and very like, oh, I can't do that. What if I can't train people up?
You're doing it.
But I didn't realise I was actually doing it already, because when new staff members come in, you're helping them and training and I absolutely love helping people. There's no better sense of achievement.
Tell, like, your energy is so good.
I love it. So in lockdown, I decided it was pretty much, I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I got a message off one of my old friends who'd been friends with for a long time, saying that she was getting into lashes and she wanted a salon for her and her daughter. And I don't know where it come from. I just said, Vanity might be an option. Yeah. And she was like, what? Because everyone knew that salon was like my baby. They was like, it is literally your life and soul, as well as my kids and my husband. And I was like, no, honestly. So then she was like, well, we'll have a chat. And it went from there.
Wow.
And she ended up like taking over the business. So I spent the whole of lockdown. It was really hard for some people, and it was for me.
Yeah.
Because
lockdown was just awful.
It was, but I ended up just focusing on my new career, which was education. So I spent the whole time writing manuals. We had some really, really nice weather, which some people love that. So I did spend a bit of time in the garden, but where most people was having family time, I had minimal of that and just focused a lot on that.
But that's good that you're so driven to focus on that, because some people just get lost and they have, like, let's say they'll want to learn to do something and they just lose all, like, the go into it, if that makes sense. So it's so good to see that you're driven to do something. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like, it's like, do you know when people say like, how you're so successful, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know, I just wing it. I don't. I work really, really hard, but it's people like it all just falls into place
behind the scenes.
Yeah. So I left the salon being like, right, I don't want a team, I don't want to support anyone, I just need to focus on myself, even mentally, and just finding myself again. You get in this bubble, you get in these four walls, and you're with these same people, which it was amazing 13 years, but I just knew I needed change. So off I went on my own. I created all these manuals thinking, right, where am I going to educate? I was like, I actually don't have a clue where I'm training from. I've not even got any premises to work from. I'm at home in my kitchen at the minute. So then one of my friends messaged me and was like, oh, I've seen this place advertising. I like messaged the woman, come and see it today, like now. I'm one of them, like, if I want anything done, I want it yesterday. So I went to view it and it was perfect. The first 6 months, amazing. Every class was fully booked.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was just, I only could take 4 students on. And then again, I get another fluke phone call of someone, hi, you your brother a joiner? XYZ, saying she was having some work done on the salon. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, what? Because I originally went to view she had a big space upstairs. I went to view that first and it was taken up. It was a makeup academy, I think.
Yeah. Oh, this is an amazing story. I love this. I'm like,
but I absolutely loved it where I was. I was settled. I'd just outgrown it so fast it was a lovely salon to be in and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is like really like strange. So I was like, what's going on with upstairs? And she said, oh, we're having the salon done. We're working upstairs. But my brother's a giant. She didn't need to get hold of him. I was like, right, okay. And then this isn't, then my brain's like, bigger space, can I have upstairs? So I phoned her back and she was like, Corrine, are you joking? You've just done that amazing space. I was like, I know, but I need bigger.
You need something bigger.
And then I remember I phoned him saying, Corrine, I've just seen a big, massive rainbow and I've got a really good feeling it's meant to
signs.
be. Yeah. So I was there for over 12 months. And then the lady...
Is this just doing training?
And training. So, this is only part of my story. This is what I said, how long have you got? So I decided to go on my own. Yeah. So one of my friends wanted training up in nails. So I trained her up and I was like, do you know what? Do you want to be an assistant while I'm training? I could do with hands-on help.
Oh, wow.
So she did that and said, Jeb, what, can I work with you a couple of days in the space? I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Then I bumped into one of my old friends who used to work for me years ago.
But how many people do you know? I've got like one friend.
We were shopping in Flyers and she was my very first nail tech who worked for me. And she was like, oh, Corrine, like she'd gone working from home. She'd had a few children, so it was easier for her. She's like, fell out of love with it a bit. Rob said, I need to come back. You need to go and see Corrine. You need to get back in with it. So this was like the school holidays, August. Yeah. It took me till the December to get her back in that seat. So then she come back working for me. And then, bear in mind, I didn't want a team. I was going solo at this point. And then this absolute angel was sent to me on my course to do gel nails. She was self-employed somewhere. She wanted to be, she was employed. She wanted to go self-employed. So I was like, that's amazing. She'd done a lot of waxing and beauty therapy and fell out of the thing for nails. So wanted to pick that back up. So I was like, so I was training and I was like, you're a secret shopper because you're really good. So then I started like stalking her page and she's an amazing artist.
Oh, wow.
But she's just an amazing soul. Like she's very spiritual. Yeah. She loves, and I just loved her presence of being around her. So I asked her, would she like to come and work with us to build up
like a portfolio,
but would she like to eventually do like a nail art course for me? So she was like, absolutely. Oh, wow. So that was my third member of staff.
Then considering that you just wanted to do it just you, you've got all these people, you're like, come and work with me.
Yeah. And then my niece, Portia, she did childcare.
Yeah.
So she went off to do childcare. Found she didn't love it, but I trained her up in lockdown and she was really talented. She's like a mini-me. She's really good. I trained
Keeping it in the family as well.
And my daughter, yeah. We're literally like, I'm doing this salon's going to be theirs one day. And so my brother was like, she's going to go and get a job in Sainsbury's. I was like, absolutely not. Not that there's any wrong with Sainsbury's. There's not.
Yeah.
But when you've got a talented, I just knew it'd be like a rubber job. She just wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you do something you love, you don't feel like you're working.
That's it.
So I was like, right, come on with me, be an apprentice, I'll train you up more. So that's her now. She's really busy with nails. So then I was like, we're really outgrowing this space already. Like,
no way.
Yeah. And then I started my dream and my vision was having like nail it lit up in lights, like my
Which
own
I think is like
place.
The perfect name. Yeah. Like it really is. I love it. And it's so catchy as well. It's like nail it.
Yeah, I'll tell you where that name comes from a little bit later on. So we did that. And then the lady who took on the salon from me handed in a notice in December and was like, so everyone was like, you need to go back. Yeah. Because when I left Vanity, everyone was like, Corrine, it's your dream, it's your baby. How can you do this? And I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
You don't know what I've got in like, even though I had nothing,
you still had goals.
What I had, So I was like, and then when I did my first little academy, everyone was like, I can't believe it, amazing. And now everyone's just like shocked at everything that I do. So I was umming and ahhing whether to go back to where I'd been because it was like, have I moved on from that? So anyway, I decided to go back. My family taught me into it a little bit. And it's just been the best thing ever. We've gone back. It's literally amazing. It's just how I visioned it to be, if not better. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram story with the sign. I knew exactly how I wanted it. Yeah. Even the guy was like, no. And I was like, but I know what I want. Yeah. I'm a girl who knows what she wants.
No, it's amazing.
And but obviously like my dad and my brother, they're like, and my husband, they're all builders. So the turnaround was really impressive. it's just literally the dream place. Absolutely love it.
It looks amazing. It does. And how I see like how amazing it is obviously you have beauty salons, you have people that do nails, but you don't see anywhere that trains you up to do that. Yes. So what you do is amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
So tell me about the name then. So how did you get the name?
Oh, so the name, I was actually doing Molly's nails and I had a jumper on from another brand of polish that I was using, and it literally had nail it on the hoodie.
Yeah.
And we was chatting, saying like, what name can we have? What could we have? And literally we was like, nail it, it's on your jumper. And that's just amazing. Where it came from. And then the logo, have you seen the hand with the colour painted nails? That was also inspired. So I have an amazing girl who does all my designing, Ellie. She's actually from Liverpool. She's unreal. And she designed my logo. But when you look back to a set of nails that I did at Molly's, it was literally like she had like a hand like this on a picture, and it was like matte coloured pastels. And I just kind of like inspired by that.
Oh, wow.
Because that was just another big achievement and a dream to be able to do that. So kind of just to reflect it in, and it's just a constant reminder of how well I've done.
Honestly, it's amazing. How did you, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get to do Molly's nails? Like, was you friends or anything like that?
No. So I don't hear the end of this. Did you have to ask me this, Chloe?
I wasn't going to ask, and I thought, well, no, I might as well know.
No, I get asked it a lot. But basically, my husband's a builder. Yeah. So he was doing some work on Molly's manager, Fran, on her back garden.
Oh, okay.
And she was pregnant at the time. We'd been in lockdown. Yeah. And the reason they got chatting was because she's like, I don't know how she must have been chatting about her nails. I've not had my nails done.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying to me, so Scott must have said like, oh, my missus does nails. You'll have to try her sometime. And she was like, yeah, well, she actually looked on your Instagram and you was actually quite good. So she came to me first. I did her. And when she came, Scott did say she was Molly's manager, but I was like, all right, Scott, whatever. What are the chances of that? Never. And she was like, I'll have to get you to do Molly's. And I was like thinking, yeah, okay, that's never going to happen. But I was like, yeah, of course, thank you. Thinking that is never going to happen. And then when I got the phone call to go, I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, because I'd had such a big change, like sold the salon and we'd been in lockdown.
Well, honestly, as you know, and what I do and things, I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So you're here for that reason. And you think, this is why I wanted to mention, obviously, Molly and being a celebrity and things, but they're just normal people, aren't they? Like,
absolutely.
They really, really are. Like,
she's literally just like my friend now.
Yeah, she's just normal. Like, we're like, yeah, molly-mae's nails, and she's amazing, but she's just human.
Absolutely.
She's just human.
She is. And I remember the first time we did it, because we'd been in lockdown and we couldn't have nails. So when we was allowed, like everybody else, she was like, you don't know how happy I am to see you. They was the first words she spoke. And inside, I was like, you don't know how happy I am to see you.
Yeah.
So I think I was probably a little bit nervous and quiet the first time, but then I just chat to her like a normal person. And I think that first date with your nail tech is like, I presume, going on a date for the first time. You either click or you don't.
Mess my nails up.
Yeah, and it's just a dream.
Yeah, she does seem really lovely.
Sometimes I forget. Like, I'm just like, Molly, she's my friend.
I think that's a good thing though, because you're not treating her any different. That's why I keep saying, people say to me, how do you talk to all these many people? I did a read. I don't know if you've watched The Sex Life off Netflix. Have you not watched it?
No.
Oh, people love it. So I did a reading for the main lady on there. She's called Billy on the episode, and people are like, how have you done a reading for her? And I was like, she's just a normal person. Like, she still has feelings. She still has emotions.
They do, don't they? And that's the thing.
There's no point in treating them different because they've got a name behind them.
Yeah.
So
I think the first time you meet them, it is very like, oh,
yeah, like
wow.
starstruck.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But people always, if you notice, I don't always put her on my social media. It's amazing when I do and when she tags me, but I actually treat her and respect her as a friend. I wouldn't like post everything about all my friends all the time and stuff like that. But yeah, she's just a dream. I'm just very, very like, I'm just, I've pinched myself sometimes. You know, when you sit back and you reflect and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, when she tags you, like, her nails are insane anyway. The other thing I wanted to talk about, if you don't mind me talking about, is obviously you did go through a grieving process.
I did.
You've had a lot of emotion. So talk to me about that. I know it's really difficult, but a lot of people do go through loss, and especially with losing a child as well, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. So I've been with my partner since we're still together now. We're married when I was 17. Yeah. So I did get pregnant, but we was always friends before that, so we knew each other. Yeah. I actually had my twins. I fell pregnant when I was 18, had them when I was 19. When I got pregnant, I had a thing called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Okay. And it's where it's like the identical, so they share one placenta and one gets more than the other. Yeah. So one can get too much and become too big and have heart failure, and the other one can be really poorly and anemic. So being at such a young age, I think in a way, if it was to happen to me at any time in life, I never want it to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm going to get upset, but I'm not.
No, don't. It's all right.
I would say that was the best time it could have happened to me because I was really vulnerable. I didn't actually know what was happening because I was a child myself.
Yeah.
If anyone suffered more, it's probably my mum.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
No, it's fine. It's a really hard subject because obviously
I am okay to talk about it. I just think sometimes this is the thing, you never actually get over grief. You just learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I think it was my mum who probably struggled more because now I've got an 18-year-old. She's 18 now, Bay. And to see her go through what I did, I don't know as a mum how she did it.
Yeah.
So I know that if it happened to me now, I literally couldn't cope. I couldn't do that. So going back to how I dealt with it back then, because I was so young, so they was born at 28 weeks through difficulties during the pregnancy. So
that's early anyway, isn't it? So
I had to go in like regular weekly scans. Have you heard of an amno reduction? I think it checks for spina bifida and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
People over a certain age have it done to check for if any baby's got anything wrong with them.
Do they usually, I think
it's a big needle that goes through your stomach and they take fluid.
Oh gosh.
So
did you have that done?
About 5 times.
Oh, no.
So at about 4 months pregnant, when I was 20 weeks, they discovered the twin-to-twin thing. So at 21 weeks, it was like, right, I was building up with loads of fluid, which meant I could have gone into early miscarriage. So that's what they did, they draining the fluid off.
Okay, get you.
So up to like a big bottle of Coke amount of fluid. So
that's a lot, really.
And at being 18, I had like male doctors happen to give me like internal scans and stuff like that. So when you think back, it's quite a traumatic time what you go through. I don't think I realised till now.
Yeah.
You know, when
it's
I
like
think
a
back.
blur almost because you're in that bubble.
Absolutely.
And it's hard,
I feel like it's a film I watched. When I'm telling you now, it's like a film I watched, not that I lived it.
Doesn't seem real,
So that happened. So then when I got to 27 weeks, Bailey, which is the bigger twin, she had fluid around her heart and said that if it doesn't decrease, she could have heart failure. So they gave me the option to cut the cord on Macy to give her, she was called Macy Lee and Bailey, to give her a chance. But I just cried to my mum and said, like, absolutely not. I couldn't do that. Like, I'd give them both the same chance. But when I'd gone back in the room, they said I was too far gone anyway, which was a sign of relief because I didn't want to have made the wrong decision. But, you know. So they kept an eye on me. I had to stay in hospital under observation and decided that they was giving me like steroid injections to build the lungs up and that I was going to have them at 28 weeks. During this week time, my best friend, Ellen, my childhood best friend, she'd had an asthma attack. She'd been shopping in the day with her friends, had an asthma attack, and she was now in a coma.
Oh my gosh.
So I had the stress of that week. I wasn't allowed to go and visit her, and Mum said it was best that I didn't.
Yeah, and you didn't need the more stress.
But I was having these big, massive nosebleeds, couldn't stop thinking about her. So I've gone in hospital on the 10th of August, 2014, ready for my section on the 11th of August. Had the twins, everything went fine. I had a planned section, really nervous. It was awful. I remember my mum and Scott, he wasn't my husband at the time. He was just my boyfriend, but they were sat eating a packed lunch, eating, laughing. And I was like, this is not good. I was like nerves going, feeling sick.
2 C-sections, I really hated the recovery. Like the recovery of a C-section is horrible, isn't it?
Well, do you know what? Funnily enough, everybody says that. I was fine, but I don't know if when I tell you my story now, I had a purpose to be fine. So I had the section. I remember you can't even cough. You can't move.
You're not even supposed to lift a kettle or anything, are you?
No.
So but you still do because you've got kids, so you still have to do it.
So because the baby's got whisked off into special care, I had to get up and move that next day because I wanted to see my babies every day. So the first couple of times they had to wheel me up in a wheelchair and stuff like that. It was the second night of them being born. The nurse comes down and said, we need you to come up. So we phoned my mum to come down. And they basically said that Macy, the smaller twin, had a bleed to the brain. They don't know what caused it or why it happened or anything like that. So we went up, they did scans and stuff like that. And they said they won't know what damage is caused until the blood's broken down and gone. Fast forward to 6 weeks on of up and down to the hospital every day, being between these 2 babies and one thing and another. 6 weeks 6 weeks on, they literally said that the blood had broken away and it had basically left her brain dead. It took all that was left was the cells at the back, which was telling your organs to function. And so she could breathe and stuff, but there is a chance that she could have relapsed with her lungs being so prem. But she would basically have just been never eat, drink, herself, nothing. Sorry, Chloe.
No, it's fine.
So prior to this, this was what happened then. So she passed away at 6 weeks old. The hardest part was going back to the hospital.
No, it's fine. You're making me emotional because it's such a...
Going back to the hospital and seeing that crib empty. My daughter said to me, this is just to make us laugh and come out of the crying state. My daughter went away for the first time last week with my niece and I was crying my eyes out. She went to Greece. She's like, Mum, you're such an ugly crier. So that's why I'm like this. So that all happened. But during that time as well, my best friend I just told you about who had an asthma attack. They was born on the 11th of August. She actually passed away on the 10th of August. So about 5 days after the twins was born, they then told me because it was a funeral a week later. So I had to, that's why I think why I was okay after that section, because I had my babies to see, I had my best friend's funeral to go to.
It's almost like you're on this roller coaster and you forgot about your own body and your own pain and everything.
So I had like double grief, like double whammy. Like it was so hard, but I thought I was invincible. I was like, I'm fine. I had grievance counsellors. She would come round to the house. I'd be like, I'm fine. I've got nothing to say. Are you sure you're okay? Yep, I'm fine. I'm fine. But my mum knew I wasn't. She knew I was. I thank God we had them for help and
that
support.
must have been really hard for your mum as well, seeing her baby almost. I know you say baby, but obviously seeing you grow up and then go through that, and she can't control that.
Yeah. The only thing I can say for anyone who's dealing with grief, like, don't feel, even if you're at a young age, don't feel silly to talk, because I think that was me. I just felt daft. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to. So I held it in, and instead, and instead I was probably like quite lashed out at my mum and shouted at her for this and said like, do you know, stuff like that. Now I'm like, oh my God, like, you should have just, because so that was fast forward to, I've only probably dealt with it the last 2 years, believe it or not. And it was 18 years ago. Everything happens for a reason. So here goes to another, like, it gives me goosebumps when I think about it. When Alfie was a babe, so I got pregnant with Alfie. I was devastated. Didn't want any more.
I've got 2 kids.
I've got 2 kids. So Alfie's 14. Bear in mind at this point, I'm now running a business. I've got my salon. Terrified it was going to happen again. So I phoned my mum, like,
the anxiety
sobbing.
of it.
She's like, oh my God, what is wrong? I was like, I'm pregnant. She's like, it's okay. I was like, I was terrified not to have another child, for that to happen again. Like, I'm so glad there was only one. He was healthy. He was fine. But it was scary. It would put anyone off for life. So a few years after having Alfie, everyone was talking about Reiki. So I was like, I'm going to go and get some Reiki. Didn't know what I was going into. Didn't actually know what it was, what it actually did. I was just like, my friends are getting this Reiki. I'm going to go. I am a very reliable person. I will never let you down. I'm a grafter. I'm always at work, okay? So the next day, I woke up. I cancelled my full column. I cried all day. Didn't know why I was crying, my reason to cry. I had 2 healthy children. Didn't even think it could be the loss of Macy and Ellen. I was
this
just
after your Reiki?
After the Reiki, the next day, absolutely sobbing. Phoned my nana. She took me for a walk to the pharmacy and cleared my head. And I was like, I just don't know why I'm crying. I was literally, I remember saying to her, I just want to drive my car into a wall. It was awful. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So I don't know how I dealt with that and got through it, but I did, and I got through life. When I look back now, the last 2 years, how I've changed as a person and grown, I feel like I was in a really dark place and didn't realise. I thought it was the best. I had a business, I had a good team of girls, I had my friends, and it really wasn't.
You've released that emotion.
So I trained this girl in one of my workplaces, and she came on the course, and I'm training her, and we're chatting away, and there was a girl called Natalie and a girl called Natasha. So I kept calling Natasha Nat. I kept saying, hi Nat, how are you doing Nat? Is that okay? Like, just Don't know why. Because if anything, I would call her Natalie Nat. I wouldn't call her Natasha Nat, but I kept calling her Nat. So she's like, Corrine, that's dead weird. She went, you keep calling me Nat. She went, there's only one person who ever called me Nat, and it was my granddad, and he's passed away. I was like, she said, my mum's quite spiritual. She said, and I was like, I kept getting these signs. And my mum, she said, I'm sat eating these chocolates thinking, looking at your course, thinking, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? And I think she had a mum phoned her or something like this. It goes, and she said that he was saying something like, you need to go and do this course and do what you want to do. So that's the reason she came to my course, okay? So then from me telling
everything's
her,
being linked up.
so she said about her mum being all spiritual and doing Reiki and things like that. And I was like, oh, I had this really bad experience with Reiki. Let me tell you. Didn't tell her about Macy because I didn't think anything was linked. I'm like, this Reiki thing, like, no, this is what happened to me. So it was a 5-day course spread over weeks. So unfortunately I had COVID at Christmas time. So I had to cancel the class. So I offered them to change class, or you could go and one of my the girl Chloe who works with me could run it for me. So they said, we'll still do it. So when she came in, Chloe phoned me. She's like, Corrine, I've got something to tell you. This is my friend. I was like, what? She went, Natasha has been on the course today, and Mum said, have you lost someone who's really close to you? She said she told her Mum about the Reiki thing, and you've obviously you've not let the grieved. So someone's done your Reiki, opened you up. That was grief. She said, you really need to go and
your grief's coming out.
She's like, I was like, what? She was like, you need to go and be realigned, have your Reiki. So
because you feel unbalanced. I was talking on a different episode before you've just come on about chakras and auras and Reiki and stuff.
I'm obsessed now, by the way. So I was like, I didn't think that was a thing. So some of my clients come in and I was telling them what had happened, and they was like, you need to go and see Jane. So I don't know if you see on my story, I'm with Jane quite a lot. I do a lot of things with her. Literally, she is my angel sent from heaven. She has changed my life so much. So she got me back on the right track. She's rebalanced me. I know how to deal with emotions more. I know things that serve me, things that no longer serve me. Like I just feel so much more alive.
Does she have an Instagram page?
She does, yeah.
Right, give her a shout out.
Oh, Jane Divine Whittaker. Healing. I need to get it up properly, actually. I think it's Jane Divine Healing. Jane Divine Healing. But I will tag you on my Instagram. So she does all like sessions and stuff. We go on like walks and things like that. And she's very much like helped me to like get into connection with like things. And it's just, I can't believe it. Like the way I've changed, like living in them 4 walls. I've been on a Ibiza retreat with like, I just went on my own with a load of nail technicians. It was organised. That was amazing. It was like a life-changing experience. Just going on them walks, meeting people I've never met before.
It's the fresh air. It's like having that time for yourself as well.
Yeah, even like just you messaging me and me messaging you back, and the things we've spoke about. It's like, who are all these people in this big massive world that I never knew existed? Because I lived in this, I must have lived in such a bubble in my own head, and now I would never go back to literally. So,
but your energy, like how I describe you, is you're so bubbly and you do care so much about other people. You do.
I do, yeah.
And now you're kind of taking that moment to step back and put yourself first, which I feel you need as well.
Yeah. Like now I'm very more mindful of things that I say, what I do, where when I was going through that grieving process and before the last 2 years, sometimes my mum would always say, you say, you don't even think before you speak. And I think, I didn't even know I was doing it. Things would just come out like, oh. It was like, what do they call it? Like verbal diarrhea? Is that the thing where it's like, and I wouldn't mean any harm by it or to hurt anybody, but I would just say it and be abrupt with things. Where now I'm really like, I just,
You've been through a lot.
I apologise to anyone who I've upset on the way.
I was like,
wasn't meant intentionally. No,
I was trying to hold my tears back, but it is emotional. Like there's so many people that do go through losing somebody like a baby, and the grieving process is very, very difficult because we're all here, we're all living life, and we're all going to lose somebody that we love, and it's difficult to understand it. But I can't believe everything that you've been through. What made you, that's what I was going to ask you, what made you go through Reiki? What made you go and do that?
The first time, through that, just like people in general being like, have Reiki. It's like someone saying to you now, go and have this microdermafacial, and you're like, I actually don't know what it is, but it sounds good, I'm going to give it a go. I didn't have a clue. I just went because someone probably told me about it.
Do you notice like your angel numbers and things like that?
All the time now.
Yeah.
All the time. I notice signs. I notice loads of little things.
People that say to me, no, I never get signs. I'm like, right, let's do a reading or let's have a discussion about it. And then you'll suddenly just see all these numbers and signs, and it's fantastic.
But since dealing with this, like a couple of years ago, before I got into all this, if you'd have said to me like spirits and angels and crystals, I was like, I would have looked at you with a side eye.
I used to be the same. I used to be like, what a load of rubbish. How can a crystal heal you? It's a load of rubbish. But then when you hold an amethyst or you have one, like your headache goes. Like it's insane. Like it's weird.
Honestly. And it just helps so much. And now, and knowing about the angels and what things like that, it just helps me deal with it a lot more because I know there's a better place, and I know
it's hard to believe. Sometimes it's really difficult to believe because obviously I see the things that I see, but to try and explain that to someone who probably thinks it's a load of rubbish, which I did at one point because I didn't know what I was seeing was different to what everybody else, so I thought it was just normal. So to have that discussion with someone, but then to kind of sit back and be like, well, what do you question happens when you die? What do you think happens?
Well, I've got a question for you actually.
Okay.
Did you used to be scared of dying when you was younger? Because I was petrified.
I had really extreme night terrors growing up, like really bad. Like I'd sweat and everything. Like,
and you'd get that horrible belly in the middle of the night.
My dad used to think like, what on earth's going on with you? Like they used to think I was possessed or something. Like they didn't know how to control me. And I used to just grow up and see all these different things, but just think they were normal. Yeah. I generally thought they were normal.
Oh, so you've seen it from a young age?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, so since you got connected, like now, I actually don't think I'm scared. I don't want to go anytime soon. I love my kids. I love my life. I'm not putting it out there, but I don't feel like I'd be as scared. I feel like I would maybe as well. You know when you say someone's waiting for you on the other side, I know that they're there. Yeah. They're there.
It's a strange feeling. So I did have like a massive bulk of my life. So I'm only 25. I had I'd probably say about 6-7 years where I didn't see anything, didn't feel anything, felt so like cut off from everything. Obviously I had extreme anxiety and depression with my 3 little ones. So at one point I had 3 kids under the age of 3. So it was really, really difficult.
Wow.
It was just crazy. So I got pregnant less than a month after giving birth to my second. I had a C-section as well, and then I was pregnant again. It was like I was pregnant for 2 years. It was awful. But I ended up not being able to leave the house, not being able to do anything, and I found it really, really hard. And I was closer to my nan than anybody. And then obviously she passed, went to her funeral and saw her there. And yeah, it's almost hard to believe.
I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see. You will. I really do feel like you will. But you're kind of on the sitting point where I don't feel like you'd be scared, but something's making you feel like you would be scared.
Yeah, because
that's what you're like at the minute. You're like, oh,
yes, I want to see it, and I don't. The only thing
will it scare you? That's what you're.
I'm not scared of seeing them. Literally, I hope Macy's sat right here now, baby girl. But that doesn't scare me. What scares me is, remember a message not long ago? That woman put that really bad thought into my mum's head, and she was like, "Be careful."
Yes, I remember that.
So this
and
message.
I said, no medium, no psychic should be telling you bad things. Why would you want to know anything like that?
Just be careful what your daughter's doing. There's bad spirits and good spirits, one thing and another. And I was like, I'm scared now, I don't want to do it. Now I don't want to do it. Where I was loving it. I was literally...
Don't get me wrong, you're supposed to make sure you ground yourself, protect yourself.
Jane's giving me like protection prayers. Listen, she has got me covered.
But nothing can hurt you. Nothing should scare you. If they do, then it's not a good thing. But nothing can hurt you.
It's not them that scare me. It was the bad that can get in. That scares me. Because I'm like, can I fight? Am I strong enough to fight them off?
But no, everything is love and guidance. I only look at the positive out of things because why would you want to know? Like some people message me, Chloe, when will I die? And I'm like, why would you want to know that?
No.
Why do you want to know the date and the time you're going to die?
I would never want to know, but just out of curiosity, do you know that about people?
No, I block it out.
Oh, God.
I don't want to focus on that. I probably could tap into it, but then why would I want to know that?
No, you wouldn't.
The one person I can't read for is myself, which I find really strange. Is I literally can't read my future. I can't read my own cards. I can't do any of it. I find that a bit bizarre. The other thing I kind of say I don't do is I have a lot of people wanting to have readings for like their toddlers and their babies. And I'm like, no, I don't really want to read for like under 18s. That's my cut off. But yeah, I absolutely love what I do. I love helping others.
I think you're amazing. You've got just such a nice thing about you. And like when you was messaging me, I was like, I feel like I've known this girl forever. Like
everybody says that.
You was like my new best friend.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
What is that where
you turn into something else?
I've never really thought about that.
So I get asked this quite a lot, and I did do a question on it, and I thought, I don't personally believe in it because I see things when you die, But then a lot of people believe in that you do turn into something else when you pass over.
I've got another story. I'm full of stories.
No, go for it, go.
So, I feel like you're going to be like, you poor girl. So when I was 11, one of my best friends died of leukemia. So,
God,
no one wants to be my best friend no more because they're scared. She died when I was 11, God bless her. She had leukemia, was really young. Yeah. And my nana had bought this white rabbit. Yeah. She was called Leanne. So they bought her this rabbit. So my nana she was too poorly. So when she passed away, they give us the rabbit. Yeah. So my mum and dad, we had the rabbit. It was called Thumper. It was absolutely gorgeous, white with floppy grey ears. And it literally, we think that was Leanne back in a rabbit because it was very cheeky. It ended up being a house rabbit. It would sprawl out in front of the fire, which Leanne would come around, have a sleep over and do. It would eat Maltesers, which she loved. Yeah. And normal foods like that. And one day it had escaped out the house and it got run over. Now all that happened was it skimmed the skin off its leg. It survived, but I believe that she got hit by a car and got hit in the same side of the leg when she was younger.
See, it's like when you look at things like that, you do believe in reincarnation. But how I see it is spirit, so your past loved ones are almost surrounding you and controlling these things.
Right.
That's how I see it. Because how would I communicate and see your past loved ones if they've turned into something else, if they've gone into a rabbit or if they've gone into something? How would I communicate? It kind of baffles you. Like you can have so many different conversations and people see different things, which is fine. Yeah. Obviously other mediums, other psychics might see things different to how I see things. Yeah. So you could not see spirit, you could hear spirit, you could taste spirit. I know that sounds weird. You could feel spirit, you can hear spirit, all these different things. But yeah, that's just personally what I believe in. Because that's how I see it.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, that's obviously like a job on its own. I couldn't do what I do and that. But I just think it's amazing.
But I never thought I would do what I do now. Like I never ever would have thought that because I did dog grooming. I did like engraving on wood at one point and selling things. I did so many different things, but I never stuck out what I did because I knew that it wasn't the right thing. So I had this gut feeling, but didn't know what it was. Yeah. And obviously when I saw my nan at the funeral, which again sounds really weird, it's just what happened.
Did it freak you out a bit, Anna?
No, that's what I mean. People say, did that not scare you? I thought, is my mind playing tricks on me because I was grieving? But then like she was in the car with me. She got home with me and I was like, this is just weird. And then I started seeing Charlotte, which is the girl in my house. So ghost and spirit are different. I think I've told you this before. Ghosts are tied to the location and then spirit roam around freely. Did I tell you about you have different planes, basically? No. So how I explain it is we're at the bottom, spirit at the top, and meet in the middle. Okay. So obviously when you pass over, you go to like a different plane, and angels are a lot higher up. Because people think angels are our past loved ones as well, but angels are different. So they give us love and guidance. Right. So that's where you notice your angel numbers, your ringing in your ears, white feathers. They're a sign from your angels. But yeah, it's just I could talk about it forever.
You could, couldn't you? Like literally, I'll have to like we'll be on this phone all night now. Right? So come on, what was you saying?
Yeah, it is just crazy. Like I never thought I'd.
Do you feel like this is what you will do now forever?
Yeah, forever. The thing is, because I was on the maximum antidepressants anyone could have, so I was on equivalent to 5 paracetamols daily. That's what I was on. Wow. And I never thought I'd be off them, but helping others has helped me. Like I'm not on antidepressants. I'm not doing I feel so much better within myself and that's for helping others.
And do you know what? That's really weird because obviously I've been on depression tablets and stuff, which I'm no longer on, but I think just helping people in general, I know with what you do is amazing, but even just with me, I absolutely love helping people. Yeah. And students notice it when they come. They're like, oh my God, like you're so informative, but you're so helpful. Even after the course, they are.
And the thing is, they'll always remember you. Like they'll remember you. Like that is such a lovely feeling.
But I love it. I love helping them. And I always say to them, don't be afraid to ask me anything. No question is silly. Like I honestly get such good, like I said before, sense of achievement from it. It is literally like the dream job.
Them fake hands you have when you do it. I think they're amazing.
Yeah, really, really cool.
My nails are awful and then I've got none on. I wish you could do them.
I should have brought my kit. Could have done a free little tutorial for everyone.
Yeah, you should have done that. But no, thank you so much for joining me, and your stories are just, you've been through so much, but you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you so much. Could have talked all day. I was like, how long have we got?
Is there anybody like you want to do a shout out to on Instagram or anything like that so everybody can follow? Obviously, what's your handle? Is it called
Nail It with Corrine. Yeah, it's a handle. Yeah, it's what we say nowadays. Yeah, Nail It with Corrine, which is my page, personal page. I have the Nail It Academy one, and we also have the new salon page. So if anyone wants to give them,
all these, I need to like them.
I can't even. manage them all. I said to the girls, right, you need to manage the salon one. I'll do the academy.
So with your, in case anybody's interested,
hard.
so are you in Manchester and you teach people to do nails?
I'm teaching people to do nails. I've got a number of businesses. I've got I do
God.
clients, I do the education. I also sell my own products and tools.
Yeah, I've got some product, love them.
It's very small at the minute. I've kept it quite low, not low key, it's out there for people to buy, but I've not really launched it and done much with it because we're still working and tweaking on branding and products and things like that before we really put it out there. It's just a long process, but that was another amazing opportunity. We went out to Bologna and researching things and products and materials.
You're going to get even bigger, I'm telling you.
Absolutely love it. And even now I'm actually on another course, something to do with the academy side and the education that I'm working on. I'm constantly just working to make them better and better. I just want to give my students the best they can have.
I'm glad you kind of took the plunge to do it. I should be in your other salon wondering what if.
I always say if I ever won the lottery and I didn't have to work again, I would do something voluntarily that would be helping people in some sort of way.
Talking of the lottery, a lot of people say, Chloe, do you know the lottery numbers? I'm like, if I knew them, I wouldn't be sat here now.
Do you know what? I've just been to Tesco's today and I nipped in Tesco. I actually went to grab you some little bits and I ran in and I don't know why, I come out and I just went to the counter like, can I have a look at it, please, shrimp for tonight? I went,
you have to go with your gut feeling.
I've just bought a lottery ticket.
With your gut feeling. If you don't if you think, oh, maybe I should get one. If you have that gut feeling, like maybe I should just get it. I was stood at the counter
with these flowers in my hand. I went, oh, 1 minute, put the flowers down and got my purse. I thought, why am I stood here? And I just went, I'll have a look at it.
You. I just went to Tesco as well. This is the one out there.
I went to the one near home.
I went to that one. And I literally got some nasal spray because I always sound so bunged up. And it come to £5.55.
Wow.
Yeah, that always happens to me.
Wow. It's our lucky day.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks, Corrine. Thanks for joining me.
Chloe. I've loved it. Thank you so much.